Righty-ho. We're just sitting up to 3,000 feet, going through some quite bumpy clouds actually, hopefully, well, they've probably stopped being bumpy by this point, into Guam International Airport, in Guam, obviously. So we're currently inbound to Obale, which is the kind of almost final approach fix. Hopefully that glide path is now coming down. I'm actually going to go to a heading now to intercept the localizer, 030 degrees. Localizer is going to arm. We're going to drop below the glide path at some point shortly. And 14 miles coming in over the sea. Still got full speed brake. Some quite crazy clouds. Hopefully that'll be the localizer grabbing right now. That is the localizer. Reduce the vertical speed now too. Basically going to start throwing in the flaps and the gear shortly. So we're aiming for Harlow 2000, so keep descending down. Runway's there. Using Google Maps this time because Bing was a bit lacking in the Pacific Islands. It was actually much better as well from Pohnpei or wherever it is, Micronesia. Had much better ground effects from there. So just armed low auto brake. The high speed taxiways are at the end of the runway. I'm going to arm the approach mode now too. Got 28 knots coming from straight ahead, and it's a gusting wind, I think. It was before 70 degrees at 14, so 28 down to 14 during the course of the approach. We're 10 miles out, and the glide path is just turning up now.
2,500.
I'm going to ask for a little bit less of the aircraft, so a bit less vertical speed there. And we're going to intercept the glide path shortly. We'll come in over these mountains. We have to stay above 2,000 for this point here until the ILS is intercepted. Actually seeing there's quite a bit of swaying going on. So there's 8 miles. We've got approach mode armed. I'm going to put flaps 2 in now, that we're below that speed. And the gear can come down. The next thing, cabin check. See, quite bumpy actually. The aircraft is kind of moving quite a bit. Speed brake arm, cabin is checked, and now we need the flaps full. I'm going to fly this one manually because it's getting buffeted all over the place. Hey.
1,000.
Just go straight to over.
1,000.
Flight attendants, please prepare for landing.
I feel like we might have Windshear. We definitely got Windshear. Going round. That is what Windshear looks like. There's a bit of silliness with the approach mode disengaging, but I think the approach mode disengaged because of the wind shear. We're going to go to 3,000. Keep flaps 2 in. Just going to go around for another go. Some athletics tracks there. There's 3,000 feet, so level it off. Let's do speed 180. Engage the heading hold there. 260 degrees. Everything else is still correct. Yeah, so the wind is a bit mad from the front. So we're going to go a little bit further back now. Ground speed of 220 with an airspeed of 180, so we've got 40 knots in it even though the wind's only 30. So quite a powerful thing. Seems like the whole world's got high winds this week. They've still got all the lights on, the compass we can put on. Let's call that there. I'm going to go back to approach phase because that was the go round. Okay, that's heading roughly 160, so 0.6. Actually 150 would be a base leg. We're going for 150 for base. Send it to 2000. About a 3-degree glide path now. So approach mode is armed properly, so I'm going to actually engage that now. So the speed starts to come down. 2000 at Harlow and then intercepting the localizer. That's now Harlow. Bring it down to 2000. I'm actually going to try and maybe just do visual approach once we've got the RLS kind of roughly lined up. Okay, so it's heading 190. Let's go for 95 and on the localizer. Okay, I can see the wrong way, so I might just switch it to visual. Okay, so it's going to be a visual approach from this point now. See, it's a bit more stable this time. And coming over the mountains, I'm going to expect a bit of turbulence. There we go. Now just warning one stop. Guam traffic, Cafe 23 Papa, final runway 06 left. Let's get that flight director turned off. Flaps to full. So you can see how the lower speed bar is constantly adjusting on the left hand side of the screen. That is the wind shear that's doing that. Basically the wind is constantly changing directional speed, which is causing a loss of airspeed, which causes random changes to performance, like stalling and losing lift and such. So again, I'm going to descend now. There's the wind shear. Let's look at some mountains here. Still got approach mode engaged, good. Is that wind shear? That is wind shear. I'm going to take it because it's over the mountains, not the actual city, so I'm just going to accept it as part of this part of the approach. And once we get past the mountains, if we still have an issue with it, then we're going to say something else. And the control stick is doing a bit of crazy stuff actually. I'll try and just get a bit of a view for that. You can see the right hand one that mirrors what I'm doing.
One thousand.
Well, it's coming from the left, so I need to go over there. It's actually more blustery than the landing at Heathrow the other day. Right, there we go, that's more stable now. It's still quite windy, but the speed bands aren't constantly shifting up and down the ND. It's a very blustery approach, actually. Oh, it's going a bit wild. 700, 800 feet per minute. Going visual now.
$500, $400, $300, 100 above, 200, minimum,
Continue.
100, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
Now just release the auto brake, let it glide out to the end. And the temperature is 27 degrees Celsius, which is why the packs kind of went a bit crazy on the last bit there. Guam International Airport. So yeah, those mountains at the other end of the runway do cause a bit of wild turbulence for that initial approach, and then it calms down slightly, but that was still quite blustery actually, which I suppose is expected. It's an island in the Pacific Ocean, so there's a lot of energy floating around in the sky. Get all the speed brakes in. So we're vacating now. Let's take a stand somewhere on the left, obviously. Let's give this to the first one because it's easiest. This Airbus almost overturns now. Unless you unwind the tiller yourself, it assumes you don't want to unwind it, and then it just keeps it completely turned. There we go. We're probably going to go to Hong Kong at some point eventually. Power cage, baggage, power cage, baggage. Do your thing, do your thing. Now let's see what that landing rate was. 114. Weirdly smooth, weirdly smooth. Although what have we got? So I'm just looking at two aircraft. So you can see there was a go around loop. I wonder if I can share this quickly. There we go. That one there. So Cafe 23 Papa, flying from Pohnpei International Airport, which is in French Micronesia, to Guam International. And you can see we kind of came in on this approach here. It wasn't very stable. Broke off the approach here, went around and then came back in for another go. And then landed over here and took the fast taxiway straight to the gate. Bit of cheating, but oh well. Sanpei was going to be the next one, which I think is somewhere over here. Yeah, Saipan. There we go. We came from Palakia. And then this was another flight that I did when I was trying to see which scenery, which satellite imagery was best for the island of Micronesia, well, one of those islands. We also came from the Marshall Islands earlier, from Majuro. Flew out. It's literally, that's a strip of land. The runway is the entire width of the thing. So it's just been flying across the Pacific, basically. But yeah, good fun. 14 minutes recording.